who are you voting for in the SGA election tomorrow.
Plus, civil rights marches on campus. Stay tuned. Trojan Vision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News for February 21st, 2012. I'm Judson Garner.
And I'm Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. Troy University Student Government Officer election is tomorrow, and with less than 24 hours before students can cast their vote, candidates are doing their best to get their name out to the voting public. Amanda Ford has the story.
Social media is not only big with keeping up with your friends, candidates in this year's SGA election are turning to it to get their name out to the student body.
I think social media is a very practical way to get your message out now because, social media rules our lives. Everybody has either Facebook or Twitter.
Social networking plays a big part in what we do as I guess, politicians, if you will, in the campaigning process because we're approaching an age in our society where social networking is the norm for communication. And I think that as long as you're in touch with using that social networking base to communicate with your constituents, I think it's a lot easier for you to get your name out.
Oh yeah, Facebook's probably the biggest way to campaign for sure. You can't beat it. Inviting 500 or 600 people at a time is the easiest thing to do.
Candidates took the opportunity to reach out to organizations across campus.
Going out talking to organizations, calling their presidents and asking them if I could come speak to their chapter about the campaign, and also just going around campus talking to students and also the international students to get them all on the same page.
Sunday night, I went to 11 different fraternity and sorority chapter meetings, so I was very busy then, and I've been going around to a lot of different on-campus student organizations.
Some of this year's candidates have had experience with elections in the past.
I've been a senator the last 2 years, so I've had to do 2 other elections, and that definitely helped me prepare for this process of knowing what to do and what's the best way to get my message across.
In ways more difficult, but it hasn't been that bad. I've enjoyed being on the campaign trail and meeting people and trying to get them to vote for me because that's what it's all about.
Amanda Ford, Troy Trojan Vision News.
The election will be tomorrow from 8 to 5 in the SGA office on the second floor of the Trojan Center. You must have your Trojan ID to vote.
And now let's take a look at who will be on the ballot in tomorrow's election. In the presidential race, it will be Jared Morgan against Will Thompson. For Vice President of Legislative Affairs, Paul Evans will face off against Parker Smith. Cody Farrell is the only candidate running for Vice President of Campus Activities. Christian Haller and Matthew Hall will vie for the office of clerk, and Hope Garner is running unopposed for secretary. You can get to know the candidates by tuning into the SGA debate right here on Trojan Vision. For airtimes, you can go to our website, troytrojanvision.org/Troy, and click on the programming tab. The debate is also available on the university's YouTube site, youtube.com/TroyUni. Once again, the officer election will be tomorrow from 8 to 5 in the SGA office on the second floor of the Trojan Center.
Marches were a major part of the civil rights movement, and today Troy students took to the streets to reenact the historic activity. Troy's chapter of the NAACP sponsored a Black History Month march through campus this afternoon. The group holds this event each year to commemorate the marches of the civil rights movement. The students' march started in front of Sartain and made its way around the campus and eventually ended up on Biff Graves' quad.
It's all about marching and encouraging others to be thankful and to honor those people who paved the ways for us, whether it's black, white, Asian, European. We all are under America under the same umbrella. So we're marching in the name of hope, dignity, respect, equality, and liberty altogether.
The next Black History Month event will be on campus, the African American Alliance Night of Color, tomorrow night at 7 at Claudia Crosby Theater. Well, Judson, student orientation is starting soon, and the hunt for new leaders has started.
That's right, Bailey, and with so many students interested, the competition for positions are high. Deatra Montgomery has a preview of what is required for an impact leader.
Impact is right around the corner, and it's that time of year again to look for new leaders to help the incoming freshmen during the summer. Regardless of academic or extracurricular interests, a wide variety of students is encouraged to go and sign up.
We're looking at the student's personality when they apply, how they interact with with us through the interview will be a good indication of how they're going to interact with the other student leaders and the students that are in their group.
Impact leading does sound fun and exciting. However, one must be willing to take on the responsibilities.
It really gets going that second week of June. We'll have 2 weeks of training prior to the first session. The first session of Impact is June 18th and 19th. They will work with all the incoming freshmen and transfer students, and they'll lead small group sessions, be in charge of helping students make their fall schedules. So that's some of the duties.
Alongside the responsibilities, a student will have to sacrifice some things, but not without receiving benefits from them.
I'll probably say the first thing is sleep. There are long days serving as an impact leader. During sessions, the morning starts about 7 in the morning, and session on the first day will end around 11 or 12. So it's long days. That's a sacrifice for a college student. Impact leaders do get a stipend, so it's not necessarily a sacrifice, but they are required to stay on campus during the sessions.
Aaron is welcoming all students that are interested to come to the upcoming interest meetings.
I would just encourage any student that is interested in Impact, that has thought about in the past, hey, I'd like to do that. Come to the interest session, see what it's like, see if it is something they want to pursue.
Deatra Montgomery, Trojan Vision News.
Impact interest sessions are tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the Trojan Center Room 119 and Monday, February 27th in the admissions office at 5:30 p.m.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, County Crossing developer Ronnie Gilley has testified he was living a lie while developing his casinos in Dothan, but insists he's telling the truth in Alabama's gambling corruption trial. Defense attorney tried to challenge Gilley's testimony as a prosecution witness today in federal courts in Montgomery.
And in Birmingham, a witness in the murder trial of an Alabama man accused of murdering his bride says an Australian diving firm violated its own rules in preparing the woman to go on a fatal scuba diving trip during her honeymoon. The man who was the dive master on the trip, Wade Singleton, says Tina Watson didn't get a private briefing or an orientation dive before going into the water with her husband, Gabe Watson. Singleton finished testifying today.
And also in Montgomery, Alabama, state health officials are investigating several cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease, a contagious viral illness which has struck the state more severely than normal this year. Alabama Department of Health authorities say the virus affects the hands, feet, and mouth and usually infects young children.
Still to come on Trojan Vision Nightly News, the Trojan baseball team opened their home season this weekend and got off to a hot start. Daniel Percival will be in with all the details next in sports.
But first, the stock market is on the rise. We'll have that story after the break.
The Dow crosses 13,000 for the first time in nearly 4 years. I'm Alexis Christophorus with what that means for you.
Today is Saturday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
RBIs and 36 homers. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it deep back into the stand.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you can learn one thing in life, especially if you go into business, it's how to communicate and how to work with others. And I do think Troy taught me that.
Troy reaches out to people who they see their commitment to public service.
Troy just attracts students that want to give back to the community, that want to give back all across the world.
We want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. We want to enable our students to go out into this world and make a difference.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Trojan Vision Nightly News.
Now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Judson Garner at the Global News Desk. Judson.
Thanks, Bailey. Mitt Romney's campaigning hard in his home state of Michigan, trying to take back the momentum from Rick Santorum. The super PAC backing him is likely paying for some of the ads he's using there. Tara Mergen reports that the super PACs are quickly turning into the most powerful forces in the 2012 campaign.
Mitt Romney tried to win over voters at a town hall meeting at Eagle Manufacturing in Michigan.
I care about Michigan. This is personal for me.
He's fighting hard to win the state where he was born, but polls show Rick Santorum is in the lead ahead of next Tuesday's primary. That's putting Romney on the offensive.
I don't think Rick Santorum's track record is that of a fiscal conservative. And so I think that'll ultimately be interesting in this process and will lead to my getting more support.
Arizona also holds a primary next Tuesday, and Santorum made a campaign stop there, highlighting his conservative record and taking on President Obama.
President Obama says, I'm going to give you the right to health care. Just give me your money, give me your freedom, and we will provide for you. When the government gives you rights, they can take those rights away.
The candidates are using a new and powerful weapon in the race for the White House. Super PACs are raising millions and millions of dollars for their campaign ads.
Last month alone, Super Political Action Committee supporting Romney and Newt Gingrich raised a combined $17 million and spent $24 million. There is no limit to how much money an individual or corporation can donate to a super PAC. One of Gingrich's biggest donors says he might give as much as $100 million to the former House Speaker's super PAC. Tara Mergener for CBS News, the White House.
The stock market hit a major milestone, a big round number we haven't seen since before the start of the financial crisis. Alexis Christoforous has the story on Wall Street.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average cracked 13,000 about 2 hours after the opening bell and flirted with that number throughout the day.
It was so close you could touch it, so the tension was building. And when it finally hit, we got a little bit of an at last cheer. At last, and everybody cheered.
The last time the blue chip index hit the 13,000 mark was nearly 4 years ago, just a few months before the collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008. In the crisis that followed, the Dow eventually dropped below 7,000. The long climb back from that low point has picked up speed over the last couple of months. The Dow has surged more than 6% since the beginning of the year. The index hit 12,000 in January and just kept going. Promising news from the Eurozone is driving the latest gains. Finance ministers approved another bailout for Greece in exchange for that country's dramatic cost cutting. And investors like the stream of strong corporate earnings. Home Depot and Macy's are among the latest winners with better than expected profits.
The earnings reports were very good. All of these companies became lean and mean.
The Dow is now less than 1,200 points from its all-time high, and traders say that milestone could be next. Alexis Christoforous, CBS News.
If you spend a lot of time on your cell phone or BlackBerry, then you no doubt walk and text at the same time, and you probably don't even think twice about it. And researchers say that's the problem. Manuel Gallegos reports.
Erica Schaefer is a typical college student, texting on the go.
Every time I'm walking to class, in between, doesn't matter. I'm texting and walking.
Really? But with our heads buried in our little keyboards.
I think he had his head down texting for at least 5 seconds without paying attention.
Texting and walking makes us a little clueless.
Do you find yourself drifting off in the wrong place?
Every time. I mean, sometimes I bump into things, but it happens.
It happens because the two tasks are competing for our brain's attention, say researchers at New York's Stony Brook University. They found during a controlled study, even the most adept texters weren't aware of where they were going.
When they were walking and texting, that deviation was 60% away from the straight line. That's a huge amount to be off course.
Veering off course even slightly may not seem like a big deal, but hospitals report a growing number of injuries from texting and walking, from chin scrapes to broken bones. In Michigan, a texting Sean Spencer walked right into traffic.
Flying through the air thinking, what the hell hit the ground?
And this guy didn't notice a baby rolling onto the train tracks. Rexford, Idaho recently passed a law banning texting in the street. In London, they tried padding lampposts. There's even a new texting app that actually shows the ground below. Researchers say we are figuring it out.
I sense other people.
You're never off course, huh?
No, never.
But for now, many of us are out of step with the world around us. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Stony Brook University, New York.
And that'll wrap things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, including Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Judson. And now Danielle Percival joins us with sports. So Danielle, baseball season kind of kicked off, and they're off to a really good start.
Well, that's right, Billy. They were at home to open their season, and they were able to pick up a couple wins. We've actually got a team who is in action today, so we'll get into that first. Mother Nature aced the men's tennis team this weekend, postponing matches for a date to be announced later. But time keeps on ticking as Troy is back in action today in Birmingham. The Trojans head north coming off a dominant performance against Kennesaw State, winning in perfect fashion 7-0 on February 12th. The Trojans were scheduled to face the UAB Blazers earlier this afternoon. And for the Trojan baseball team, it wasn't just hot hitting that lifted them to a series win this weekend, it was also hot pitching. Central Michigan took the long walk back to the dugout 37 times this weekend as Trojan pitchers were just too hot to handle. Tyler Ray contributed 8 strikeouts on Friday night when 13 Central Michigan batters struck out. In all, 10 Trojan pitchers recorded strikeouts on the weekend, and senior Tyler Ray says that's one positive thing the Trojans can take away from this series.
That's a definitely bright side to look at some of our things that went on this weekend. You know, we got a lot of things to work on, but if that was the case, we had a lot of strikeouts. You know, I guess I had more than normal, and Friday night I think we had 13, so that was good to get to know that we're striking guys out, and I guess that's one of the positives we can take off with and head into next weekend.
The Trojans' next chance to tack on more Ks comes this weekend at Southern Miss. The series opener is slated for Friday in Hattiesburg. And facing a top 10 team is a tough task to ask of any college pitcher, but a true freshman in her first month of softball play, an even bigger task. Friday night, the undefeated Trojans faced number 6 Missouri and were handed their first loss of the season 4-0. Freshman J.C. Affelt threw 3.2 innings against Mizzou, allowing only 4 hits and 3 runs. And while the Trojans and Affelt may not be perfect on the season anymore, head coach Melanie Davis says she's proud of Affelt's effort.
Well, she did a great job. I think she had 9 strikeouts through 6 innings, and that was a very good job by her. I told her she gave up a lot of hits, but they were not your normal hits. They only hit maybe like 2 balls pretty hard all day, maybe 3. A lot of little freaky things that will happen on a windy, rainy day.
The Trojans will hit the road for their first midweek action of the season this week when they travel to Tallahassee to take on Florida A&M tomorrow. The teams are scheduled to play a doubleheader beginning tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And the final game in Sartain Hall was nothing less than a thriller when it came down to the wire and took overtime to decide. And it even featured a Trojan victory. The only way it could have been sweeter was had it been a Troy Trojans victory. The Arkansas Little Rock Trojans stole the final game in Sartain Hall from the Trojan men's basketball team 74-62. Justin Wright sank 2 free throws with 8 seconds left in regulation to tie the game, but an 18-6 run in overtime cost Troy. Alan Jones, who led the team with 17 points, says there are times when Troy is having to overcome more than just their opponent.
Some games we come to play and some games we don't, so a lot of games we beat ourselves. Like in the beginning of this game, we gave up 3-point fouls, and gave them 9 points. Like, you take that out, you got a whole different ball game. I think they shot made 13 or 12 free throws in the first half. So a lot of these games we beat ourselves, and when you undermanned and undersized, you can't.
The Trojans now begin their final road trip of the season, heading through the Sunshine State. First stop is Miami. The Trojans and the Golden Panthers of FIU will square off Thursday night, and tip-off is scheduled for 6:30. So best of luck to the tennis team. Hopefully they were able to get a couple victories up in Birmingham today, and best of luck to softball as they are hitting the road for their first midweek action tomorrow. Hopefully they can bring back a couple more victories.
Absolutely. Best of luck to them.
That's right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Still to come on Trojan Vision Nightly News, Aaron Taylor learns about upcoming career fair. We'll have more on that after the break.
But first, this week has been sunny and breezy with cooler temperatures at night. And what can we expect for the next few days, Bree?
We have had that picture-perfect weather over the past few days, but those conditions may be here to stay. I'll have more coming up next in weather.
At the heart of what we do in the College of Business is care for the student.
It's a personal thing with the students. We feel like the students are our most important asset, our most important products.
I have never been anywhere where I've known so many students on first-name basis. They stop by socially to talk to.
So we understand who our students are, and we're trying to help them be better in their areas of professional work.
My colleagues and I work together to create programs that our students need.
What we try to do at Troy University is provide an experience to students that not only provide the curriculum that allows them to be successful in the business world, but we also try to expand their horizons to reach greater opportunities that maybe they didn't think they were capable of before.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Trojan Vision Nightly News.
Now Bree Sanders joins us with weather.
So Bree, we just got out of a pretty rough weekend weather-wise. It rained a whole lot, but today was rather pleasant. So is this week going to look a lot like today?
Well, it seems as if we did have that rain over the weekend, and it kind of came in through this week, and today was a picture-perfect day, and to say the least, I should say, we may have one unfavorable day, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Right now on campus, we see that it is a little bit cloudy outside. The sun is just now setting, so whether you're headed home from work or you're headed to class, make sure you keep that light jacket with you just to stay warm for those decreasing temperatures. Take a look at our current conditions right now. We have mostly cloudy skies, temperatures at 67 degrees, dew points at 51 degrees, humidity at 56%, barometers at 30.11 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the south-southwest from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 71, low of 47. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:19 a.m. and it should have set at 5:36 p.m. Take a look at our temperatures around the state. Overall, the state is in the mid-60s, upper 60-degree temperatures. Mobile coming in at 66, Huntsville at 64, Birmingham at 67, Montgomery at 65, Troy at 67, Phoenix City at 63, and Dothan at 67. Looking at our temperatures around the southeast in our area, we're in the upper 60s right now, and as we move throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures decrease a little bit into the mid-50s. Carolina's in the 57, Florida in the mid-70s, a little bit warmer than what we're looking at right now, as well as Texas in the mid-70s. Temperatures overall, looking at the United States as a whole, here in the northeast, they're in about the upper 30s, and as we move down throughout our area, those temperatures increase back into the mid-60s. Current surface map here in our area, we see we have a few cold fronts moving through the southeast, possibly bringing in some cooler temperatures later on this week, maybe even a little bit of rain. Taking a closer look at our area, we do have that cold front that may be coming in through the next few days or so, so we might want to watch out for some rainy conditions. Precipitation forecast over the next 48 hours, it does look like the rain will be here in the northeast, possibly coming into our area through the next couple of days. Wednesday, that rain touches just the north of the state. Thursday, we'll have some strong winds, but shouldn't be experiencing too much rain there. As we move into Friday, we see that rain comes back into our area, about a 70% chance of rain or so. So you might want to dust off that rain gear because you may need it for Friday. As we move into Saturday, that rain clears back out of our area, so it's a possibility of a very beautiful weekend. Looking at tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, about a 20% chance of rain, light winds coming in from the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour with a low of 47. So much like last night, it'll be a pretty cool night, but we shouldn't be expecting any rain. So you might want to grab that light jacket with you just to stay warm. For tomorrow's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain, a very nice day tomorrow with winds coming in from the south-southwest at about 12 miles per hour and a high 73. So tomorrow will be much like today, a very beautiful day outside. Shouldn't be experiencing any rain, so you can go outside and enjoy your day tomorrow. Class outlook for tomorrow at about 7 a.m. it should be about 50, getting to 61, up to 70 around 1 o'clock, and at 3 p.m. the highs should be around 71. So you can enjoy lunch outside tomorrow and even go for a jog if you like. Taking a look at our 4-day forecast. For tomorrow, we have the high of 73, low of 57. Thursday, we have the high of 75 with a low of 62. Very windy, so you might want to grab a jacket for Thursday. Friday, we have the high of 63 with a 70% chance of rain with a low of 39. And Saturday, that rain clears back out of our area, and we have a high of 60. So, Judson, we did have that rain throughout the weekend and the beginning of this week. We do have a picture-perfect day today and possibly throughout the rest of the week. Maybe looking at a little bit of rain, but for the most part, we should be okay.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Bree.
You're welcome. Thanks.